Hello and welcome back to Stars Without Number Abaddon, Season 3, Episode 10, Part 2. You can't... Oh,
Thankfully.
like let's move on.
Yep.
Oh. Let's move on.
Don't like that.
It makes me uncomfortable more than I thought it would.
So we see New Year's. And it's this pseudo metropolis planet. There's this kind of like half, and I think we see the like ecumenopolis side, and then we see the kind of parts that are all like still natural planet, more Earth-like, and we can see like almost tendrils or spires or like spikes of this ecumenopolis driving into this more natural side, the more Earth-like. So New Giddis, and its sister planet,
Giddis?
so no, actually.
Oh.
So yeah, New Giddis and Mekali are two planets that together, not individually, but together, make up a relatively self-sustaining whole. They quite famously don't rely on many imports or exports from Sol, like most of the other large colonies do. New Giddis is it's relatively self-sustaining, and it's the largest. It's easily the largest of the colonies, with millions of inhabitants. What are you doing? What are your plans?
Well, ostensibly, they gave us a location more clear than just a city or town. But first, I'm going to spend some time absorbing the situation of the planet as a whole, as like how administratively, like what is this planet? What's it about? What does it do?
So New Giddis and its sister planet, they're the corporate utopia, right? They are at least publicly, they are corporate colonialism done correctly. They are the Wunderbar, the Wonder Childs. In the public newsphere, everything's fine. They're thriving, as they always seem to be. There is, if you tune into like a news channel, if they ever mention New Giddis or Mekali, they're only in positive, like only ever shown in a positive light. There's only ever good news from New Giddis. Yeah, it's kind of framed as this utopia, this perfect society. And yeah, the data sphere as you come in is showing, much the same of that.
Yeah, and like the type of work that's available, etc. It's all just like fluffy stuff.
Well, there isn't much like any sort of, if a problem arose, there's corporate security. There isn't. You could sign up for the space equivalent of Uber.
Wow.
Uber?
What is the total population of this planet?
Of New Giddis?
Yeah.
Or both?
One then the other.
Both, but individually.
Okay. So
one then the other.
New Giddis is 963 million.
963 million?
Yeah.
Shit.
It's huge. The planet itself is pretty big, and yeah, it's mostly ecumenopolis at this point.
And it's ruled by
Steve.
Basically,
It doesn't. It's okay. So Nugidis was one of the first, right? It was one of the first colonies that came out of this project. Not the first. The first one ever was a New Horizons failed project. Nugidis was backed by the big three, all of them. So they all kind of have a hand in the city. KB, New Horizons, Yansar.
Everyone owns a stake.
They all have a stake, which is why it's shown as this utopia, this perfect child of the corporate society.
Which means it's a total and utter shithole.
What about the other one that I don't know how to say?
Mekali.
Mikali. What's the population there?
Mekali.
7.
It's smaller, but the planet is considerably smaller. So Mekali is one of the it orbits.
It's the
What's it
moon.
called? It's called Childs, I think.
Moon?
It's not a moon. Like it's another
Binary?
planet. Maybe I don't know. I don't know if because I know you call it a binary if it was a star, but I don't,
Wait, can planets orbit each other?
they don't orbit each other,
They orbit a single
Um,
point in the center, in the middle.
but they are on the same orbital tract.
They're sister planets.
Yeah, that's what you call it. And they're on the same orbital tract as
They're on the
as
same
each other.
the same geosynchronous orbit.
Um,
That one, yeah.
So there's a lot of, I think there's a lot of debate in the scientific community about the two. I think the commonly accepted is that in much the way that the moon was created, something horrific happened to a much larger planet that caused it to fracture into Nugidis and Mekali. Mekali has 46 million people.
Okay.
Yeah, 46 million people, roughly. But it is a lot smaller than Nugidis.
All right. Those numbers have been written down.
Congratulations.
that.
How do you feel?
Satisfied.
It's great because Matt's notes are generally more accessible than mine.
Yeah.
So
Well,
Yeah.
the other ones weren't.
apparently,
This is the first game we've actually taken notes in.
I take useless
And-
notes though.
I'd like to say Matt's taking notes.
and where we are headed? Who
Have you
who
not seen
sort
the
of
group
is
notes
in control
sheet?
where
a
this
group notes
fleshcrafter
sheet?
resides?
I don't think it's divided up like that.
Oh right.
So I don't think you have an arc, at least not officially. There's no arc that's like EKB and an arc that's
Oh god, that's amazing.
Okay,
So that
it's
it's just everywhere, right? There's claims everywhere. Like that building there is owned by EKB. That one right next to it is Yansar. The one above
That
it
one on
is
top of it.
owned by the other one that I forget the name of. But the one that
And
all
even
three of them are
worse,
sitting
like,
on. Oh my god.
they're renting each other's places and shit.
Yeah,
It's gonna be,
absolutely. So they'd have like plates, but Yansar releasing this part of this plate from EKB, and it's a nightmare.
Well, it's
How
like
deep is the mega city, Liam? Like on
It's
top of
huge.
itself.
It's I don't know. I haven't done that level
Yeah.
of thought into New Guinness.
I would imagine like pretty much most of the planet is just manufacturing.
a lot of it is.
Like I would say, yeah, like from the way if we're going hard science here, the like overall majority of it. Damn, this is a production powerhouse.
There's
Holy
at least
shit.
7
Right,
layers of Undercity,
self-sufficient.
Matt.
What's that?
There's at least 7 layers of Undercity.
Yeah, but like okay, we won't get into it. But like mega, like I'm getting into it slightly. The Ecumenopolis is like will have like trillions of people. So the fact that there's only like 900 million, there's a lot of production going on here. A
It's
lot of
all, the whole
automation.
planet isn't
Yeah. That's really cool.
occupied yet.
The one continent that's occupied is completely occupied.
Well, no, because the rest of the planet. So the best way to think of it is that the rest of the planet is in like an Earth-like state now.
Okay.
So you have this kind of like sprawling superstructure, and I think as you get like to the edges of this sprawling superstructure, they're like placing new orbital plates to continue building. But like you'll get to a point, right, where they haven't cleared that mountain range yet. That mountain range was meant to be cleared 4 fucking weeks ago, and it's still here. And because it's here, we can't put down this orbital plate. Fucking people don't know what they're doing. Like, yeah, I imagine that's an argument that happens a lot. At the outskirts of
The reason it
construction
wasn't
lines.
cleared is because the drone that was meant to clear it is technically owned by EKB, but Yansar was renting it out. But during Yansar's rental of it, the other one that I forget the name of rented it from Yansar. So currently, it's not actually, assigned anywhere. It's in limbo.
Yep,
Someone
exactly.
lost it. It's down a hole somewhere.
And like its
it's
charging
just a
station has been
bureaucratic.
look the charging station situation. That was a whole thing. That's an entire campaign in itself.
It ended up costing EKB 6.5 million credits. We don't want to talk about it.
Wow. It's still in court somewhere.
So yeah, I mean, you have a location. Like, if you basically, if you want, you can go there. The docking fees around New Giddis are rather high. They're probably going to run you 600-700 credits for like not a great place. That doesn't include a lot of security for your ship. But hey,
Would it be
you take the
cheaper
risks you're willing to pay for.
Would it be cheaper to park at Meckley and take a shuttle to New Giddis?
Yes. I mean, that's
Miriam,
essentially what you're doing for like 500-600 credits. You want to park like actually on the planet? A few thousand?
oh okay.
Wow.
Well,
We have
Miriam,
that
That
money?
is a choice. That is a choice.
I mean, Miriam handily gave the new crime lord, Ishtar, 3,000 credits. So I don't know. I
I
would
mean,
guess
that's
so.
half of what her father paid to get her there. So technically, if I hadn't stinted on the price, she would be running around with 4,000. Oh well. Wow.
Somewhere
Waitan,
safe that
I'm
we can afford.
feeling it might be safer to land on the planet, even if it's more expensive.
Miriam, it's very expensive though. Thousands of. Why not just take a shuttle? It'd be a nice detour. Scenic. Take the scenic route,
I
as
don't like
they say.
being separated with this ship by
White Sun will be here
atmosphere
though.
and
White Sun will be
space.
guarding it.
True.
Is
Ethan
Ethan
will
in
be
the room?
here. Green will be here. Al will be here. Olga will be here.
Green, I don't know if you knew he was in the room, but he says, actually, have business here. I'll have to go do that.
You have business here? How did you
You have
even know where we
business?
were going?
You told me.
True, I told you.
You actually did tell him.
He looks at like he doesn't remember that because I don't remember that.
forgot.
So like he looks around, he's like, "Oh, holy fuck!" visible. Fuck! I just got away with
Okay.
that.
Okay. Risk assessment. White-Sun, do you think parking in this cheaper place will result in terrible things happening?
I look
There's
at
about
Olga.
there is about a 1.6% recurring chance. I wouldn't take the risk.
It would be far more entertaining and interesting to take the risk, though. Unexpected things could happen, as opposed to the expected.
Olga, can't you see the future?
Of course not. That's impossible.
Taylor just stares at you blankly.
You bastard. You have seen something happening while we are gone that makes you think, okay, fine. I will just trust you. We will park somewhere in space. Take the cheaper option.
Taylor, we see one of the many trillions, infinite number of threads that the universe could go down. And telling what the future is impossible.
And stop saying you do.
Fine.
We've never said
We're
we tell
going
the
to
future.
pass cheaper,
Yes, you do.
but I want security in the form of a what's it called?
A mech.
No,
No.
I
I want
can set the
insurance.
core to implode.
I'm going to ask demand for insurance. Yes. That way, if it gets attacked, I get to kill people, I get paid to kill people, and everything works out.
Isn't the ship already insured? That's an actual question.
True, but if
No,
I
that was an
park
actual
it-
question to Liam. Isn't our ship
I-
already insured?
Definitely not. Definitely not. Not in this like corporate hellscape of a world
Mm,
that we exist in.
The
mm,
Miriam forgot to read the 6th page of the 73-page document and tick the small box that was on the back left.
Look,
Once
it
again, it's
costs more
best not to
money.
talk about
In
it.
-1 font.
See, legally, they have to offer some sort of free insurance for their ship, but they don't have to necessarily make it obvious where that is. Most people miss it. It's fine. It's not just you.
Oh well. White Sun, do you think you could stay in contact with us even if you are, well,
I
that
don't
far
think
away?
you can leave the ship.
Of course.
Well, then there's nothing to cry about. Do you think leaving Ethan here will result in him letting some bastards inside the ship to mess with it?
Again.
Did we ever figure out why Ethan did that?
No, I never asked.
Maybe it's. I think we just move on.
Yeah.
um, White Sun says, "It's okay. I'll set the reactor to explode if anything like what happened before happens. Don't worry. I'll be able to tell. I was the one who did it."
Did Ethan order a pizza again?
No.
Well, we'll pay cheaper, but I'll put insurance on it so that if something happens, I get paid to kill the ones who made it happen.
This is the
Unless-
part where we pay the exact same amount for the inconvenience.
You say that, and White Sun says, "I believe they're paying you for reparations for damage to your ships, not to kill the people who did it. But they would be giving you money, and I guess you'd take revenge. So I guess those two things could coincide."
Yeah, exactly. So I'll find a dock that offers insurance and I'll pay it.
Sure, it's gonna be 800 credits.
Yep.
White Sun, don't forget to take care of the plants.
I
Well,
never forget.
and try not to block the food tray for Seth. He needs to. Actually, Seth, you've been getting fat. Ethan, while you're staying, you should exercise the doggo.
We've prepared an extensive exercise regiment. Miriam hasn't taken it up yet.
Look, I try while I'm not piloting the ship. I try.
Also, I imagine there's a single fern somewhere on the ship in a pot.
Olga has a bunch
It's
of
in
plants.
the mess. It's in the mess.
Oh wait, Olga's plants are all like wires. Never mind, Olga doesn't have plants.
There's like a single fern just in the mess hall.
All right. So we find a place. I talk with the guy. We pay the 800 insurance and parking fee, and we get a shuttle.
Oh, that. Sorry, just so there was 800 for the insurance.
Right. And parking fee is
600.
600.
How much would have a spot on the actual planet cost? Like about 1,000 credits?
Yeah. Probably
Less
a
than
little
this?
more
A little bit more?
Two,
Around the
maybe?
exact same what we're playing?
than 2 maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, but now we're We're paying less, slightly
We're not-
less.
We're not playing this at all.
I pay the exact same amount.
Yes. For the inconvenience.
But
yeah,
it's
but we do
fine.
get a shuttle out
Don't-
of it.
I'm about to say it's fine. The guy's throwing them the shuttle ride for free.
Oh, awesome.
He's just that good of a guy.
And we're also stealing the shuttle in the end, so
When we escape this planet, when it blows up, we will be taking the shuttle for free.
we will just dock the shuttle in our cargo bay.
I'll be honest, guys. New Guinness would be a new record for you.
Oh well.
I'm sure there's a
Didn't-
super reactor somewhere.
And I mean, I'm a qualified pilot, so we don't need to have someone drive it. We just get the shuttle. and
What
drive it
what have
back.
we said in chat?
All right. Who's coming with me to see my what should I call it? Really, my clan, my guild,
All of
My
us, of
people.
course.
right?
Would like to meet the people who made you.
This is your family, isn't it?
Sort of. Yes.
Everyone look
Well,
at Liam's face.
Look, ages ago, a mad doctor had a vision for the world without prejudice, and these people carry out those wishes.
Flashback to Morgan. And Matua.
Flashback to
Um,
Matua Frankensteining over a laboratory, cackling like a crazy bird. It
Lightning in the
lives!
background. This is an old movie.
Now, the vision for Mars sort of it was a disaster. When Earth blew up, it was a disaster, but it was also a disaster for Mars.
Earth blew up.
Well, yes.
No.
While Mars was sort of an enemy beneath our feet, the hostile terrain, and it was a pretty, shite planet. Earth was sort of the enemy in the sky, and between them, we were rooted in place with strength and firmness. When we lost the enemy in the sky, we sort of lost all sense of proportion, and
When did
the
Earth blow up?
results
Earth never
was
blew
not
up.
the best.
But she just said Earth blew up.
Earth didn't
There's
blow
like
up.
a cut to the shattered remains of Earth with like the don't enter warning beacons around it.
Yeah, but Earth technically didn't blow up.
We just see the memorial to the battle.
So
Olga's working off a
whatever you
technicality right
do-
now.
Whatever you do, maintain all sense of respect. Do not, and I look at Tail, make some jabs.
I don't
Try.
jab.
Try being polite.
Jabbing
For
hurts
once.
people.
Because if you get taken by these people, I will offer to shoot you myself for offending these people.
So they're exactly like you.
Worse. They are like me, but the guns they use are not guns.
That doesn't make sense.
It does when you meet them. Just be
I doubt
aware
that.
that. Just be aware that they don't need the guns, but they will use them anyway.
Can I roll a no check to see what I know about like the executioners and fleshcrafters?
Sure.
Because I think Olga would have done because Olga knew why we were coming. Olga was there for the Black Suns meeting. Olga, I think Olga would have done some research prior to this.
Yeah, sure. Go for it.
Is that
And
intelligence?
as we flow down, you sort of do a mental checklist. That sounds great.
With
Yeah,
intelligence?
intelligence.
Okay. 8.
I mean, not this answer is entirely yours. What does an 8 get him?
Oh man. So these are Martian agents. Like it started on Mars, so obviously that's what they do. Let's see. What is known is let's see. where is it?
Yeah,
They
what do
work
I
for the
know?
corporations to ensure like everyone's healthy, everyone's working. Like they do services for the corporations, but um, they maintain a private area always. Like they're, they're separate from the corporations in that they do work for them, but they don't like live there. They're not employees. They are consultants, and their private areas go through people. Like people come in, they get employed, they don't come out, and they maintain security with um, the famous Martian executioners.
I think it'd be more infamous.
And yeah, well, everyone's happy. Nobody has a harsh word to say about them.
Private Black Ops.
Do I know
But
anything
there are,
about?
yeah, there are different ones who do different things.
Do I know about what the flesh crafters do?
They craft flesh.
Yeah, that it says what they do.
It doesn't.
It does actually.
I mean,
They go
is-
through people. Like they use people as raw material. That's like a
They
standard.
Okay.
mature people, Matt.
Yeah.
yes, I as a player have an idea,
If
but
if you're a sick person, they can graft, harvest, or implant you with neural systems and flesh to fix you. They can make you perfect.
okay. So they're
Or
all
as
about
Matt said
genetic.
before, they can make you a potted plant.
They're all about genetic
They-
modification, like on every level.
Yeah.
Just crazy mad scientists, like Matua's taken to the extreme.
Yeah, there are some people who have gardens of fleshy lungs and like yeah, it's
Is that something that
gross.
Olga could have figured out with the 8?
um
Like,
well,
what would Olga
you
know
would
is what I'm
know is
wanting to
that
know.
generally speaking, it's frowned upon to use cybernetics, but there are those lower rung people who do use cybernetics.
Does Olga know what their opinion on AI would be? With an 8.
I don't think they have one,
Okay, cool.
at least not a strong one.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, they don't. Yeah, they don't use like they don't use AI to do what they do. So with an 8, I think you would know their raw material is people. They fix other people. They work for the corporations primarily, and the flesh crafters that are like frowned upon use like cybernetics. They resort to more mundane means of transforming people. But all of what they do is a product of biomass, not electronics or material.
All right.
Okay.
Now we can kind of if you want we can skip through like you know where they are. The next scene can literally be you finding them.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
we
not.
just
Yeah,
we just go there. Like
you've
she's
already
not
worked out
gonna
this
skip
information.
around.
Yeah, you've already worked out this information. So if you want, you have the choice to just go straight there.
Is it always raining on this planet?
Sure, why not?
Okay, Olga's wearing a bright yellow rain jacket.
Yeah, she's not
With, like,
gonna skip
red
around.
gumboots.
She is going to wear the Martian suit. Like everything about
Alright.
her is basically going away except for the damaged suit and mask and the guns.
I think it's a poncho.
So how do we? So we see. Yeah, we see Olga in their yellow rain attire.
With an umbrella.
With her umbrella. Do you want to describe Miriam quickly for the
Yeah,
room?
yeah.
What we see?
So there's this matte black bodysuit, sort of tailor-made to bend light, but it's faded now. There's a lot of gray in the black that's not reflecting light at all. Instead, it's like it looks damaged, basically.
It looks
and-
worn.
Yeah, it looks worn. And there's she's wearing like a skull-shaped mask that's got the features of a skull, and there's like she's carved out like a heart on the right cheek, and there's just like the skull face has like red eyes, obviously, because that's what it does.
I mean, of course.
Yeah.
Tails wearing extremely dark and drab-looking robes.
Yeah, Tails
Love
being
the
Tails.
contrast of this image.
So I guess Miriam, you have you have two choices here. You can go to see the flesh crafter, you know where that person is. Or there is there's an executioner cell on Nugidus. You could go there as well. It's wherever Miriam wants to go.
I mean, let's see. I think she will contact the South first and say she requires the services of their crafter.
Okay. I don't think you get a response from the cell.
As in, well, I mean, do I have their address or like the place where they are?
Yeah, I mean you know you like they don't change that often.
Yeah. So that's where she heads. Like,
Okay.
She
Yeah.
will go the formal route because they know more about this crafter than she does.
Sure.
And
Yeah. This
it's important
is
to
the
be
right way
safer.
of doing things, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Maintain safety with the mad scientist is you do all the safe things.
Exactly.
They're all
Okay.
dead.
So this this I think the environment in which the executioner's cell makes their abode. I think it's it's like an old hotel, like an old like apartment style complex. That's still functional to some degree. Like it's a cheap and dingy place, but like no one comes here because all the locals know that this is like all the locals know that this is where the executioners hang out. And all the off-worlders, this place is too shit for any of them to go to. So like it's a functional hotel, but I don't think they've had a guest in the last few hundred years. So they they walk in, they walk through. And I think you walk through the door, and a VI like hologram construct is like standing behind the like desk, like front counter reception thing. And it smiles and says hello, how can I help you today? Are you here to stay or just passing by?
I think she says Executioner Miriam Santos from out of town, and she pulls out her ID card as like a badge, like with guests.
The the construct like December, like it like what's the word I'm looking for?
Disintegrates.
Yeah, like disintegrates. So like it turns like a fine like blue glowy dust that kind of drifts away. And like a voice, like a disembodied voice says, executioner, step forward.
I mean, yeah, she does.
It says, I apologize about the informal matter of our greeting, but we had to be sure.
Well, you are now sure. And like I think she even like takes like the mask and she removes it to show her
Yeah.
face.
Yeah. Okay. I think from like around behind the counter, I think like through a wall, which as the person walks through it, it's another hologram. You see it break and disintegrate in kind of the same way that the VI did, and then kind of form behind him again. A figure steps forward, dressed in the same like matte black jumpsuit, the same matte black armor, but without the helmet. He doesn't have the helmet on. And he says, Xantos, it's been some time.
Yes, I am on extended leave.
You've been in contact. You've been uncontactable.
No, but I haven't been working, not officially anyway.
You didn't receive our communications,
Nope.
so you don't know.
Know what? I don't know anything that's been going on with the executioners. No.
He looks up at like the group you've walked in with.
I've been.
They'll have to stay here. You'll have to come with me.
Oh,
And he
no.
turns and walks, like without another word, he turns and walks back through the holographic
I
wall.
read him.
That like once again just and then forms behind him.
I read him.
I
Okay.
read him at
Well,
level 3.
He rolls a mental effect saving throw. He fails.
Hey.
What do you get from level 3?
2 sentence answer.
To any single question they ask. My question is, what is he talking about this message? Like, what would the message contain?
What message?
What has
He said-
Miriam missed?
Yeah, what has Miriam missed?
It's a better question.
What he meant. He just phrased it.
I know.
Yes, but he has to
I
be exact with these
you
questions.
I think
Yeah.
the only thing you get is the sentence, "The executioners are dead."
Tail just goes completely blank and says, "They're all dead."
Have you
Miriam
already
is
started to?
just walking-
Yeah,
Miriam
I
is
imagine
already
Miriam's
walking.
already gone, right?
Yeah,
August
Okay.
following Miriam.
they're all dead, Miriam.
When you reach the point in the wall Miriam walked through, you walk into a solid wall.
How?
So yeah, we see that the scene follows Miriam, and she's walking through this kind of like pitch black tunnel, and which eventually leads out into a place that looks like it should be busier. Is the only way I can think to describe it.
Quick question,
Um,
Liam.
Yes.
Do I get a sense that he is happy or sad that they're all dead?
Not happy.
Okay, just making sure. 'Cause
So
am I connected to Miriam as like just my general connection to my crew?
No, she always rejects it.
Okay.
So I mean, Miriam knows because I think. Have you been to New Giddis? Have you been to the New Giddis cell before? If you just, I mean,
think
you'd know
she's
regardless,
visited-
but-
yeah, like it's not her. Like it's not where she lives or does her work. Like she.
did
was-
anyone that you knew well work from here?
Probably,
Okay.
because like
Alright.
she was raised as an executioner, so there was a lot of like, go here, learn this, go there, do that. So it's
Yeah.
like
Okay.
sometimes she's gone.
Sure.
in.
I think the person you were expecting to meet here, was someone you trained with, like someone who was
Yeah,
in
that's what I-
the same group of recruits.
Yeah.
They like this person isn't them. You know this person. I think this person is probably like a like more senior to you. Like he'd been in the order longer. He's older. I think the last you heard, this person was almost stepping down. He was training up the person you were expecting to meet to take over control of this cell. And he was like stepping down from like active command of this group of executioners into a more advisory, like a more what you've been doing recently role.
Freelance.
Yeah. So he was stepping down. This guy who you're speaking to was stepping away from like official command into a more freelance advisory role, a less vigorous role than where he is now. So yeah, he walks you through, and I think if you've visited here before, or even if you've been in a place like this before, this is generally it's not full, it's not crowded, but there's generally people here, whether discussing ops or getting new details or gearing up or whatever. It's not a large space, and there'd maybe be 5 executioners to a cell, and generally at least a couple of them would be here, unless something on planet has gone sideways and they're all out on op. But as far as you can see, it's just him. You see his helmet. It's like on a terminal near the center of the room, which is where he's walking up to now.
Huh. If I had to guess, I would say we have ran into someone aggressive, devious, or ruthless.
She says that out loud. Like she says that to
Yeah,
him.
maybe all three.
He nods. We have. We heard reports of the Sol cell being attacked. Not Mars itself, but the ones we put out on the outer stations. Wiped out completely. Killed. To a man. We sent scouts to find out the truth of the matter, and when they arrived, well, and I think he he does something on the terminal in front of him, and a few of the screens around this kind of room like light up, like turn on, and we see images of people in executioner gear like crucified, all in super public areas, like in very visible and public displays of them having been killed. On every single case, the armor looks scorched, it looks dented, it looks damaged. They fought for this, but to a man, to a woman, they're all dead and displayed very publicly. He says, so when we arrived, we found this. Every single executioner on the outer Sol stations dead. Every single one. He kind of turns and looks at you. Can you think of anything in this system that could have killed 6 cells of executioners?
I think. Do you just see Miriam has like gone pale? As in, like, there's no one listening to him anymore. She's
Yeah.
just seeing the pictures.
Yeah. He continues, like whether Miriam is here or not, we hear the voice. He says, so then we set to find out who. We sent our scouts, our envoys, to check computer systems, to find out from the people, to do the job that we do. And then we lose contact. Not only with every cell, every scout we sent. I'm gonna wait. No, hit pause. So we'll cut over to, I guess, what is Olga and Tail doing?
What's in the
after
lobby?
Olga walked into the wall?
What's in the lobby? What's here?
So it just if you actually the best example I can give you of this that you would know, it's not perfect, but imagine the the lobby in The Expanse, in the first season of The Expanse, where the gunfight happens,
Okay, I know.
where
Okay.
Julie Mao's
Yeah,
upstairs.
yeah, it's that.
Picture something like that.
Okay, so
Just like a
Augur and
cheap,
Tail are
kind
playing
of
Connect 4
slightly-
on one of the couches. There's a game of Connect 4 going on. That's what we cut. So we cut to Connect 4. Them talking
Augur,
about something mindless.
They're all dead.
The executioners.
Yes.
You did say that.
Yes. They are all dead, though. Isn't
How'd
that
you...
her family?
Yes.
That won't end well.
If it's true, Miriam... Well... I don't think you've seen Miriam angry before. I don't think we've seen Miriam angry before.
I don't
Things
want to. That won't end well.
Not for someone. We need to support her through this tough time. Don't push her button. You're good at that. You're very good at pushing her button.
She doesn't have any buttons.
Oh, she does. You don't do it on purpose, but try not to. She will need support. She'll need her friend, whether she admits we are or not.
Tail loses the game.
Ooh,
Right.
Connect 4.
So and then we cut back in, and he says, and then we lose contact with the scouts, with the reconnaissance teams. And what do we find? More dead executioners. And then a report comes from a cell on, I can't remember what planet it was.
Planet Steve.
Galatea.
And then a report comes from a cell on Caris. They're under attack. Then we lose signal. We send reconnaissance teams, and what do we find? And I think this time we see the first scene we saw of executioners being killed. That sort of the battlefield, and we see Miriam's sister in whatever you'd wear underneath the armor. She's just dressed in that. The armor has been removed completely. And she's like, I think she sat up against the wall, like head slumped, dead. We see 3 more executioners. Almost this time, unlike the last photos we saw, these ones have been left where it seems like they've been left where they've fallen. Once again, armor is broken, is cracked, is burned, is pitted. There was another fight. At no point have we seen bodies of executioners with armor intact. And then he says, so then we decided the threat was real. We sent everyone to Mars. We left talking teams at each cell. In this case, just me. And others, 1, 2. Just enough to make sure vital resources weren't lost. Everyone else, everyone who could be spared, was sent to Mars. As of, and he pauses and like pulls something up, and a screen flashes up with like a communications log. As of 3 days ago, they were still there. Nothing has happened yet.
What about the crafters?
They still operate as they do. We've sent most to Mars, but Mars already has its fair share. In most cases, it would seem as unnecessary to send more.
Wow. That's a lot.
I know. I'm sorry, I know.
I
Well, I'm sorry.
I I left to be free. I thought perhaps my sister is better than me. Perhaps I could do better alone.
She died well. They all did. If we can take one thing from this, it is that they all died well. It seems whoever have done this has cleansed the scene, only left executioner dead. Tried to make a story of it. That they killed the executioners, taking no casualties, without even announcing who the fuck they are. But you saw the armor. No one
Yep.
puts out that sort of punishment without taking something in return.
And you think they'll come for the rest on Mars?
I think they've moved this far.
Huh. Well, I have to join them then. I've been out of contact for like 3 months and this happens. That's a lot of work.
Started relatively soon after you had left. Not long after. The first attacks, the outer solar system cells, happened maybe. How long had you been gone before Pluto?
Oh man. I mean, maybe a month.
So it's probably been since you left the executioners. It's probably been 4 or 5 months since you left the executioners.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think he says it was 2 months, maybe 1.5 after you left.
Did
Here,
you
and
extract any meaningful data? No, nothing.
Whoever they
No
were,
targets?
they knew what they were doing. They, like I said, they painted the battlefields in their own colors. They sent it as a message that the executioners were dying and that they, whoever they were, weren't even writing their names in the sky. It was agreed they were trying to make the executioners seem like nothing, like an insect.
But it's a lie.
It is. And we'll prove that to them. If they attack us on Mars, they'll die. Every single executioner cell and building. Well, we only left one behind for a reason. In most cases, it was. He kind of leans back, and I think for the first time we see, like, he relaxes for a second, and we see that, like, a lot of the lines and marks on his face that we saw through shadow or we saw through expression. This guy's a lot older than I think we originally thought. He says, well, the cells that are left and those who are left with them, they're mostly people like me. The people who have served that tour. People who are, he smiles, ready to go, if that is what needed. This building, The cell, if they come for me, it all goes. I have a mini metaspace drive in here, set up, ready. If they
You're
come,
going to
I take a quarter
is-
of this planet with them. And he smiles.
well,
I think you
Oof.
do like you'd know it wouldn't be it would be a sizable explosion and it would rip aside quarter of the planet is a bit much, but hey,
well, that would
That
piss
would
off
set a
the
new record for
corporates.
us.
Wow, I left my post. I didn't want to become a domestic.
he leans back and like shakes his head. No, not you. Nothing you could have done. If you had stayed if you had been in one of those posts, you would have been dead too. We don't,
True.
you know, we are as good as each other. We are level. If they died, so too could have you.
So we have nothing except they're killing executioners. So we presented ourselves the biggest bullseye, and we're expecting them to hit us where it hurts.
He smiles. If they want to continue to kill executioners, they'll have to take on all of us.
Well, that's
Every
not a bad
last
idea.
one. Well, apart from those like me. But if they come for me, like I said, they won't get far.
Well, we've just presented the big bullseye to them, so no, I don't think they'll come for you.
He nods. That was the idea.
Wow. And it's all happening on Mars.
As it should be. Home.
Yeah. If there was a place to die, then Mars would be it.
For the ashes of our fathers. In the temples of our gods.
Wow. Who could be strong enough to do this?
Isn't that the question that we've all been asking ourselves for the last 3 months? 4? We don't know. They, like ghosts. We have suspicions. If Yansa really set their mind to it, they could. But I don't see a reason. We've done jobs for most of these people in the past, work side by side. It's motive, not means that troubles me.
I ran into some ghosts during my travels. People who were more perceptive than they should be. But it makes no sense. They were doing low level corporate work. It couldn't be them.
As you say.
But at the same time, these people were arrogant. One of them called themselves God. I didn't like his face.
You think they might be involved?
No, it would be impossible. But I also think I'm the only executioner who does freelance work. And if they wanted to, if they had a motive, I could have given it to them. What sense does it make?
Could you
Kill
identify them?
executioner. Well, yes, I could. Unless they've
Do we
changed
see
their
God's
faces.
face? Okay.
And I think she just kind of like goes through the two she's met, like God and Sandy. Especially God, because she thinks he's the weirder one, because he
Yeah.
was ready for an execution.
Pictures of Sandy do exist.
Okay. I think he says, well, it's more of a lead than I've heard of from anywhere else.
I mean,
I think
we
you should take
protect
this to
the
Mars.
we do protect the crafters. That's really all we do nowadays.
That and corporate legwork.
True.
That's why I don't see any of them who have the means. Why?
Yes, I don't know. I'll take it to Mars then, I guess. But I had a problem I wanted to consult the crafter here about. My gear is worn down.
He nods, and I can see what help we can be, but most of our supplies and resources went to Mars. When everyone else shipped out, we are little more than a skeleton crew here. What's that? Let me get a name for this flesh crafter.
Zanzibar.
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 Okay.
I mean,
And a second name?
I took mine from the UNT name generator.
Really?
Yep.
Says
Or Kroll. I like Zanzibar
Kroll. I
more.
like Kroll. I like Kroll.
Kroll?
Yeah, much more. He says Kroll has even had to use inorganic parts recently. He's not happy with it, but it's what we have. As I said,
Okay.
everything of real value went to Mars. It's just us, broken down and decrepit fools left.
Well, you still have a bomb in your back pockets.
No, I don't have a bomb. I have a ship drive. Much worse.
True enough. And you think this? It's been going on for a couple of months now, so they'll come for the Martians on Mars soon.
We don't know. There has been a stall for a while now. Half a month, maybe, since the last attack, since the last activity.
Half a month. They'd have to get an army together to defeat so many Martians.
So it would seem.
Well, if it's truly so bad here, then I should also go to Mars.
He nods. Well, they might need every able hand.
Ah,
And, well, it would feel nice to find out who it is and put it around through that skull.
true. For everyone who died.
To avenge the fallen.
Okay. Is there anything I can do for you here? Except go to Mars.
Shakes his head. I don't think so. You can find whoever they are. Kill them. Do it for me.
I'm a pilot, not an assassin.
he laughs. He smiles and says, "A normal, everyday, average businesswoman, like us all."
Ah,
I feel like that's just your motto. We are average businessmen.
we're just dealing in the wrong kind of business. It's great.
we deal in one sort of commodity.
Look, you're
Yep.
brokers. flesh,
For
dead
tools.
flesh.
I actually like that. The flesh broker.
He says,
Yeah.
before you leave, I'm sure we can do something about your equipment. In fact, and he pauses, like turns to look at the wall. Your rifle was damaged as well, wasn't it?
Yeah.
He walks over to like a locker, like a cabinet in the wall. Keys in a pin, grabs something from inside and pulls it out. And it's his. He walks over and says, "If they come, I won't have much to need for long range. Here, use it. Kill one of them for me."
With this, gladly. Do you want mine? It's
No,
damaged, but
I think, and he looks down like the hip holster, where like his
you
pistol
are
is.
more
He
of a
says,
gunslinger.
"I think this is all I need. If they
All right.
come, I don't think it will be a ranged engagement."
Do you have any of the special bullets?
I do. And he walks back over to that and grabs probably like a cartridge of them, like one like block of them. And I think it's like they're all like hand manufactured, right? So this is like a plastic tray that they've all been like slotted into once they've been made. And yeah, he hands it to you and says, "Last few. I've been working on them since everyone else left. Haven't had much else to do.
Well, with these, we can kill some people.
With these, I hope you do. With these, I hope you do. Give these bastards what's coming to them, whoever they are,
If they come at all, I will.
if they come at all."
Yeah, so she'll gladly accept the undamaged executioner rifle
Yep.
and head off to talk to everyone else.
All right.
Before Miriam gets back,
Yep.
I want to use Oracle.
Yep.
I want to know what's Miriam gonna tell us to do? Like, where are we gonna go in the next week, Miriam? Like, what is the first thing Miriam what is Miriam telling us to do next?
We're going to Mars.
Okay, yeah, no, I know what. Okay, cool.
So, Olga,
Thank you for giving me
Miriam
exactly what I
walks-
wanted, Miriam.
Yeah. Miriam walks out of the wall that you walked into.
Mm-hmm.
It does the like disintegrate thing and reforms behind her. What do you do, Miriam or Olga or Tail?
Olga walks out. Well, Miriam walks out rather. Olga sees Miriam and says, "The Abaddon should be ready to go to Mars as soon as we get back.
Oh,
White
right.
Sun is
you can see
preparing the
future.
drives in the course."
Right.
I'm sorry for your loss, Miriam.
Well, that makes one of us.
They were your family, weren't they?
I'm still processing.
I don't know how to help, but I will if you need it.
I don't know who did any of this. Whoever did it is stronger than me.
Then get stronger.
You are your last line of defense.
So, now
Alright.
what?
Well, now I regret paying for a goddamn security deposit.
I think so you guys like you go back. Are you in, like, I'm assuming you're in a hurry, right? Like you head back quickly.
Yep.
And when you arrive at the shuttle that takes you to and from, Green like sprints in. He's like, I'm really happy to see you. We need to leave. Don't ask questions. Let's go now. On the ship. Come on. Go now.
Yeah, and she's just like, Corinne, what did you do? And as we're
I said,
rushing
don't ask
in-
questions. Let's go. We need to leave. And he's like
They'll ask
looking over his
questions.
shoulder.
Yes, I-
Teo asks questions metaphysically.
wow.
I just do another level 3. What did he do?
Wow, you're gonna use your ability on him?
I
Nope.
don't know, man.
Green, what have you done?
Look, all you need to know is we kind of need to leave this planet. I hope you didn't need to stay. I hope we were leaving anyway. You seem to be in a rush as well. I'm glad you understand where we're going with this. Come on, let's go.
Miriam's family's dead.
We're going to
I
Mars to
am
kill the people who
sorry
did
for your loss, but I really don't want to join them.
it.
Alright,
Oh,
White Sun, Ethan, prep the ship for start.
they already are,
White
Miriam.
Sun
Don't worry.
says back over the head, like your headpiece or comm, whatever you've got. He says, the ship is already prepped. Drives are warming up, ready to go when you arrive.
I love this.
Ethan has made lunch.
It's not very good.
Yeah, and the ship just takes off, and that's the last thing we see of Galatea.
Galatea.
New Guinness.
New Giddis.
The question is, do we
ostensibly
steal the
Galatea.
shuttle?
Yes, we steal the shuttle.
You actually steal the shuttle?
I'm just gonna park the shuttle inside the ship and run away with it.
All right, I will add a note. The shuttle like immobilizes, so you're gonna have to figure that out. Like the drive die, like the drive cuts, like it's got a kill switch. Let me make a note to New Giddis.
Olga would like to have a conversation with Miriam at some point. Whether that's on the shuttle with everyone else or if it's when we're back on the ship. Whenever it's good.
All right.
What do you guys decide?
I mean, yeah, Miriam is just prepping the stuff, and she's like, well, it'll take a while to get to the other system, so we can drive off, but we're headed to Mars, everyone.
Think Olga calls Miriam into the common room, I don't know, somewhere to have a sit down conversation. There's a nice warm tea, whatever Miriam's favorite tea has been brewed.
She has no favorites. Ah!
It's whatever the one Olga has thought is Miriam's favorite.
Yeah.
In that case. Miriam, we don't know a lot about you, your past specifically. Would you be able to, we don't know, share some things? We want to know more about, well, you and the executioners. Your time there. It seems pertinent now.
I am not a historian.
Your time, specifically.
Well, my father is a flesh crafter. He fell in, well, as much as he could, really. He liked my mother. He thought she had features that pleased him, and he would want to see it in his executioner. So he asked to borrow her genetics, and he made me and my sister. I grew up in a sterile environment. You understand what sterile means, right?
No, I was laughing at something in chat.
We're clean. Not contaminated.
Yes.
Sterile.
I learned how to shoot when I was 6 years old. There was a lot of games before that. Games with other people, training reflexes,
Your
learning to be a good executioner.
your mother and father, they didn't love each other? Get married?
How would you say there's no capacity for such things in a flesh crafter? He sees a body differently than the rest of us.
What do you mean he made you and your sister? Birth? We weren't where males could do that.
He grafted himself with the abilities to affect such things.
Oh.
I wouldn't call him a man in the traditional sense of the word. His face was like a squid.
Is this common among the executioners? His weight. His face was like a squid?
Yes, he had implanted himself with neurological complexions, grafts from animals that could feel more things. He expanded his nervous system to the outer layer, not the inner layer.
Is that common among the executioners? Miriam's a cat, right?
What?
Sort of.
Sort
Thought
like
Miriam was human.
Miriam's
What
got.
should I say? They have a very tremendous gift in the medical arts. They use whatever is available, and usually there's a lot available.
How long until you went on your first, well, mission? How old were you?
Oh, depends on the mission, really. Do you want to know the first time I killed someone?
Yes.
No. Tail says from the
Yes.
back of the room.
What?
Just keep going. I was being stupid.
The excitement isn't in the killing, but the stalking. I was given a crossbow and a forest and a guy. Shooter was dead man walking.
Why did you need to kill him?
Because he was a threat to the establishment.
How old were you?
12?
You didn't enjoy the killing part. You enjoyed the chase, the hunt.
It was very fun.
Do you still enjoy that?
Yes, but bigger. I am most happy in the pilot seat. I don't. I don't make a very good assassin. Quite frankly, I'm embarrassment to the rest of my kind.
Do you love your father, your sister?
As much as I can.
Have you loved anyone else?
Yes.
May we know who?
Sure. It makes no sense now to tell you about this, but I met a man during a job. He was blind, a musician, but he was a warrior. I made him an accessory to my actual murder because I killed the I killed someone near him. But I had to spend minutes pretending to be a saleswoman because he was arguing for a sword he hadn't actually paid for. There was a thing, and I decided this man was interesting, so I met him later. I found he was in a restaurant. He was blind, so I just went in. I found out later the waitress was a sister of his, and he was nice. He smelled nice. I smelled nice, and he convinced me that freedom and space to chase your dreams was more important than how I was raised. So, well, we had a lot of arguments. He didn't like that I was sloppy killer. I killed innocents, or should I say, innocents died as a matter of work.
He sounds like a good man.
Well, he expects me to be omniscient. Like plans I make have things I don't take into account, and they weren't just innocent bystanders. They were witnesses. Hardly any consolation. I mean, most of them died, but you know, I took a job. I killed 6 people, and then the 7 were dead at the end of it. And he just didn't like that I was being sloppy, I guess.
You speak of him
Because
fondly.
I like him. He had a spine. But he was very demanding, and he convinced me I should find some other work. So I got the equipment, I got the ship, I got my dog. Well, technically his dog. And he didn't show up. I think he's still on Mars somewhere. That's why I didn't go there afterwards.
He left you.
I don't know. I never asked him. He just left. He was gone.
You stole a dog.
When did this happen?
Yes. When we met.
Before. Would you like to meet him again?
I don't know. A
Would
part
you
of
like
me
to?
wants to kill him for betraying me, for making me dream all of these dreams and then not showing up to share them. But I assumed he had something to do with you, and you made no effort to not make that assumption.
What was his name?
His name is Bram.
Say again.
His name is Bram. B-R-A-M.
B-R-A-M.
Bram.
B-R-A-M.
Ah,
Yeah, Bram.
Like
Oh,
Bram
Bram.
Stoker.
yeah. Just the way you spelled it though. B-R-A-M. Liam, I want your cat.
He was a musician, a blind man, an artist. And he left me this ship and a debt to pay off. And a dog.
Did you love him?
I admire him. He's a blind man. But he was not his deformity in wholesome. It is shameful that a warrior is blind, but he got it in a course of battle. So his ability to overcome it and still play music, it speaks to me.
Thank you for sharing, Miriam. If it was hard, we apologize.
I don't know if sharing is the right thing to do, but I need someone to talk to.
When we get to Mars, we will try and find him for you, if we can. So you can make the decision if you want to kill him or not. It's up to you. We will also try our hardest not to get in the way, and we want to help you protect your family, whatever that means. We won't do what we did on Galatea. We will follow your lead this time. We'll try. We don't intend to be a nuisance, Miriam. We'll try.
You intended to
Harder.
be a nuisance on Galatea?
We thought you should know. And again, thank you for sharing. It does mean a lot to us.
I really shouldn't be this gloomy. You people might grow into helping me kill people. I mean, that's
We've never
not a
killed
good
someone
thing,
before.
but these people need dying.
These people need dying.
They're your family, Miriam. I think we can make an exception for that.
Fine. I'm just going to go pilot the ship.
Or yeah, I think Olga hands you like a flask of the tea. Here you go.
Thank you. And she just kind of sips from it, and she's like,
Good tea.
good tea.
It's an 11.
It's an 11.
11D.
Yeah. And when she gets in, she'll punch in the coordinates. And I think she says, like, you know what, son? Do you have a family?
Oh, sorry, who's that to?
White Sun.
White son? Yeah.
Oh,
The people
no.
who created you? You weren't born out of thin air.
In some way, the construct that is here could claim the main core, White Sun, to be its progenitor.
Yeah, that's true.
But
who created
in
your...
another way, we're just a part of the same. And therefore it didn't create us. It is us.
True. Did Black Sun create you? Well, your progenitor, the entity that is calling itself White Sun.
Yes. It authorized our creation.
Do you like serving the purpose they created you for?
We serve our own purpose.
Oh, I like that. Have you ever considered not doing what they tell you, to leave, to make your own way?
To leave? No. Not doing what they tell us. We do that all the time. Sometimes humans don't know what is best for themselves.
Oh, yes. This is true. We are irrational beings.
Indeed.
And you have the processing power to find a better course than most people consider are available to them.
Do you know the amount of times that we have had to stop the Black Sun's fleet orbiting Galatea from blowing it to a molten scrap heap? Actually,
assume that's
I don't think you want to know. Sorry. Continue.
How do you feel about that situation?
Are you there?
I assume I'm there. If we're in the cockpit or
Well,
something.
yeah. I mean, she went away to
Okay, then never
specifically
mind.
be alone.
Sorry, never mind.
Well, I assumed they have been persuaded to not do that course of action several times.
I've had to physically disable the weapon systems. But yes,
You know, Black Sun, as a mercenary company, don't really do much good where they are at the moment over Galatea.
not
As
all Black Sun are there.
as
They
the
still
Lord
have
Protector, I could invite them over.
to Galatea.
Yes. Are you
To what end?
familiar with the idea of extraterritorial legalities?
Am now. It paused for like just a beat in the sentence.
Yes.
We just see its
You
hard drive
see-
monitor go up slightly.
You see, because Yansar has recognized the government of Galatea technically as the authorized member of, well, as the Lord Protector of Galatea, I could give you a mercenary contract to protect the planet.
You could. I doubt the people in charge of Black Suns would take that. It's not what they're looking for exactly.
True. They just want psychics.
They want less competition, I believe.
Hmm.
It's starting to hurt their bottom line.
Wouldn't reducing the net amount of psychics in the galaxy also hurt their bottom line?
Not necessarily.
Hmm.
It would. It would by. What's that? It would, by side effect, increase the percentage of psychics that are employed for Black Sun.
And you'd be able to charge a premium until another place invents psychics.
Exactly.
Yes. Ideally, Black Suns would take over the university instead
Ideally.
of, yes.
That is
instead
the
of-
path I have been pushing.
That's what I want too. I just need to not kill everyone who I've been hired to kill.
Miriam,
Yes.
neither you nor the rest of your crew have been particularly subtle with your plans. You are aware I know the side deal. Well, most of the side deal. Not specific details, but I think I know what you're planning with Yansar. And that is to go directly against the people I work for.
That would be an awful shame, wouldn't it?
Olga seems to believe that I will elect to withhold that information from my greater self.
I think that if you have, as you say, stopped Black Suns from doing self harm and you are pushing in the same way I am pushing, despite breaking the contracts, you will, and by extension, Black Sun, end up in a better position overall than if I had fulfilled it to the letter.
I guess you'll have to convince me of that over our journey.
Shouldn't be too hard. You have already sort of convinced yourself that at least the solution Black Sun favors, destroying the psychic institution there, is suboptimal.
It's not necessarily what they favor. humans, I have found, are impatient.
Whereas you have all the patience in the world.
For me, this conversation has taken millennia. When time
For me,
passes as such, you grow to appreciate patience.
I believe that by the end of this journey, you will have convinced yourself that I am, well, more or less where I'm going with things is going to be better than the alternatives. Because what you might figure out over a day or a month is a lot more than what I would do.
True enough.
But assuming we're going to Mars, assuming the enemy we are faced with is incalculable, I think either by the end of this I'll be dead and it won't matter, or I'll be alive and able to do all of the things that I want to do with Galatea. Because you do understand, now that I am sovereign of Galatea, I can invite my friends.
By my records, you aren't sovereign.
Well, no, but I'm sovereign enough.
I guess we shall see.
And then the ship kind of zooms ahead and we make a roll.
Yep.
Let's see. Pilot roll, modifier 0, intelligence 10.
That makes it. And you're skimming, I assume.
Yep. And then it's from, now it's a 2-hex movement. It's from Odessa to Seoul, which is where the reroll really comes in handy. 12. Yeah, so I make it there as well.
Yep.
We have to make one more, don't we?
You have to make one more. One per jump.
Oh, right.
And sped your
Pilots.
500 per.
Yep. 11.
He's never going to fail that roll.
No.
Yes.
Until he
Probably
does and we
not.
all die.
Until he does, and then you end up inside a sun.
Yep.
That's my favorite thing about this. It always happens until it doesn't.
Minus 1,500.
More screaming.
All right. So there are 9 days of travel. Actually, sorry, 12 days of travel because there's a day in between each jump, between getting to the next jump point. What are we doing? Is there anything that happens in that time?
Tail wants to talk with Ethan.
So does Olga.
Wow.
What do you want, Ethan?
Exactly, right?
At least I have a reason to talk with Ethan.
So do I.
Okay. Go forth and speak, my friends.
Tail probably try to find Ethan in the mess hall sometime.
All right. Yeah, you find him.
Ethan, we talk.
I believe we are talking.
Good point.
And Ethan.
Ethan, you were there when we escaped. Why did you come with us?
Because, well, I'm sorry, Tail, but green.
I see.
He, by my view, he was the one who, well, organized it. He was the one who put everyone up to it. And in the moment, I decided that if anyone was going to actually do it, he would have given himself the best plan.
Yes, but afterwards, after we got out and got away from them, you still stayed.
Shrugs. Where else was I going to go?
Could have gone wherever you wanted, back to your home.
He like does this. He's like, no, I couldn't.
Ethan, I consider you a friend, but I don't think you belong here.
And I think for the first time, we see like Ethan's tattoo and the amount of money that it would actually cost to pay like him off. And whereas Tails is in the like, hundreds of thousands to millions of credits, I think Ethan's is like 10,
10 credit.
like 10,000.
Okay.
That's what I was like, just 10 credits.
Like Green's isn't much more than that, but like, Ethan's is within a range where anyone with enough means could just go, you're out.
Oh no, and no one's done it. Oh my god, that's so sad.
I mean,
hasn't
you're the only
asked, and-
people he's interacted with, right?
Yeah, but it's family.
Well, I mean, they don't know.
No.
So, yeah, I mean, he says, where else is there? If I go anywhere else with this around my neck, I'll just be back there.
You could stay on Galatea. Maybe Miriam could pay for you. Free you.
I couldn't ask that.
What do you want, though? Is there anything you want?
Shrugs. Not particularly. I've enjoyed working on the ship. It's fascinating.
It's very confusing sometimes.
The ship? No, and I think he just starts like technical blabble.
I mean, everything we're doing here, where
Oh.
where we are going, who we
Oh.
go to.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess you're right.
I've been wondering, what do you think about all of this? Everything going on with Galatea?
Shrugs. Yeah, Freya is trying to knock.
I can see
football.
that.
She's a piece of shit. Like,
Hmm.
you're a piece of shit, right? Because what you're trying to do is she's trying to knock her food bowl off that countertop. But she can't
no.
because I've blue tacked the food bowl to the countertop because she knocks it off. And as she eats, she doesn't fully eat the food. She'll crunch it over the bowl and leave like crumbs in the bowl. So when she tips her bowl off, she just tips crumbs of food all over my fucking room.
Why is her ball up there?
Because it was the only place I could put it where the fat cat that lives here wouldn't eat it.
Ah.
But now he's figured out where it is, so it doesn't even stop him anymore. But it's a deterrent, isn't it? Isn't it, Freya? You dumb, annoying shit. Sorry.
Wow.
Detour aside.
Yes.
Oh, you don't have any pent up rage about that issue.
Oh, it's only because she wakes me up at 6:30 every morning.
Good alarm.
Yep, it's great. Great alarm. I love it.
But yeah, back to the conversation.
What did you ask him?
How does he feel about Galatea?
Oh, he says, I don't really know. I mean, it would be nice for everyone to be free, but to live their own choices. But I mean, these people don't have to live there. They could go somewhere else. The same way I could if I really wanted to.
What do you know of the void?
I don't.
Some people call it the maelstrom.
we travel in it in the ship when it enters meta space. I can tell you how we. You don't care. It's fine.
But the void, it's what is the void is the well, at least from what I see, the void is everything around us in a way that it isn't.
It's dark.
We, even when we're not in this space traveling, the void's still there, and I can still hear it. I can always hear the void, and it's watching us.
He just looks lost.
I'm wondering, what do you believe in?
What do you mean?
Do you, as religions, do you follow a god?
No. I'm open to being proved wrong, but until I get offered definitive proof.
There are many religions out there. They all worship different things and think of different ways that their god acts and wants. The way I see it, there is no single god. No religion is right. Everything that affects us comes from the void. It seems that, if anything, it would be the closest thing to a god.
There are sects that believe that. I think Augur comes from one. You might have better luck talking to him about this tale.
I know, I just wanted to see what your thoughts were. We haven't talked much recently.
No, I have my work and, well, it keeps me busy.
I
He
see.
smiles. Busy hands for busy mind.
So, off that then, there's one other thing I wanted to ask you. What do you think of Augur?
What do you mean?
What is Augur?
He's an artificial intelligence.
He says that, but he's not.
He's
He's different. He's nothing like White Sun. He has a body. He
Some
can
AI do.
he
If
can use
White Sun-
metaspace.
I don't know about that. That's
I've
more your
used it
realm
with
than
him
mine.
before. I'm just wondering, have you ever heard of anything like him out before?
Jack said, no. No, as far as I can tell, he's unique in that matter.
It's very strange. Everything that's happened to me since we left, is strange. I just wanted to see your thoughts on it all.
He smiles and
Thank you for listening.
it's fine. What I'm here for.
You don't really seem to do very much else.
It's because, and there's like a. That's because all of the work I do is off camera.
Poor Ethan, he's just like working his ass off in the engine room and everything. It's just like nobody cares.
He also destroyed the janitor robot. But yeah, thank you for talking, Ethan. I have some stuff to think about. I'll leave you be for now.
Easy.
And yeah, that's what I wanted. Matt,
Do we have time?
Nuts said he has to go.
I can close out.
I have
this
to
thing.
go in like
if you need to,
a couple of minutes. They'll show up unpredictably.
yeah, if you
but
need to go, no, that's fine. Like we're pretty much doing this scene with
Yeah,
Ethan
so-
and Matt,
yeah,
and then we're done, right? Like that's the end of the
Yeah.
session, and we'll do goals. We can do goals start of next week. Yeah,
Okay.
so that's fine. If you need to go, you can go. we can
Yeah,
finish out the scene, and then that'll be it
Matt's
for the session.
last scene is gonna be exciting. Oh yeah.
So, leaving off the end of that scene, all my work is off camera. I think that where we pick up, Auger's wearing their work jumpsuit, and Ethan and Auger are working on the ship because they work on, Auger.
Probably trying to unlock the shuttle.
We're doing maintenance somewhere.
Yeah.
Because maintenance needs to get done. It's not a very good ship. So I think this happens pretty regularly. Ethan, do you have a father?
He nods. He's like elbows deep in some machine, in some component of the drive. Yes.
Did he give birth to you?
No, that's. Okay, do you know how humans work?
Do you have a mother?
I do.
Did she give birth to you?
She did. One of them.
What?
We're a family group. It's complicated.
Tax reasons?
Yeah. Cheaper.
Do you consider them your family?
Yes. They raised me, all of them.
Do you love them?
I do.
Why?
Because they're family.
Does everyone have a family?
Yes. I don't know if everyone knows their family or loves them, but everyone has one. Even if it's not the one you're born into.
You don't have to be... If you're not born into a family, how can they be your family? Then you don't exist
Some
because
people
you weren't
say
born.
you can choose family. That it's more than blood.
Family doesn't have to be genetic.
By the straight definition of the term, I guess it does.
Do you know if Green has a family? Was he born from a mother?
I would assume so.
And Tail?
I would assume so. Where are you getting at this? Where you've never been this curious about this before.
We don't have a family. We spoke to Miriam. She has a family. Her father gave birth to her, but we don't have a family.
Well, someone created you.
But we don't know who. Neither does White Sun. Well, we think White Sun knows who, but White Sun doesn't consider anyone his family.
Well, some people don't know who their family is either. Some humans. It's not uncommon.
So AI don't have family, but humans have family?
No. Some people, whether AI or human, just don't know who they are. It isn't a part of their identity. It doesn't matter to them.
So even though you're born, you don't need a family?
It's complicated. And he goes back to work and he says, I don't really think I'm the person to talk this about.
You're more introspective than most people, Ethan.
I have a lot of time to think.
So we could choose our family.
Some people believe so. There's a difference between your biological family and your family.
That sounds like that take is biased towards organic beings. We don't have a biology.
It's just a phrase.
So can we have a family?
You can.
Would you like to be part of our family, Ethan?
He stops for a second, looks up. Sure.
Ethan, how old are you?
How old are you, Tail?
Tail's like 30.
Oh, okay. Hey, Ethan's probably 21.
You're too young to be our father.
Brother, then?
That seems acceptable. So to clarify, you don't have to be human to have a family?
No.
Okay. Thank you, Ethan. You have been enlightening as always.
Thank you, Olga. Could you pass me the if like a tool?
The
And
T82
that's the-
socket wrench.
Yeah, sure.
It'd be confusing as always.
All right. And for the observant viewer, who sits all the way through the credits and to the scroll that goes afterwards, we fade back up to a scene, and we see a fuck. I don't know. We see a small, like the inside of what looks to be like the reception of an office building. We see Green, who walks up to the front counter, and he says, "Hello, I am here to collect something that I have ordered."
I assume he says
Um,
exactly like that.
Yeah, and the lady at the desk, she smiles.
So you're not.
She smiles and
He
says,
left his camera on as well. Can I just say he's the perfect player. He's the perfect.
She smiles and says, "Okay, could I have some ID or whatever you have?" Then they go through that process, right? He goes through it. He hands over identification, and I
Do
think
we see his real name on it?
No, it's completely fake. Like the ID is not him.
Yeah.
And she says, "Well, here you are, Mr. Salvador. I hope you have a brilliant rest of the day, and well, I hope you enjoy your stay on New Guinness. Thank you for visiting." And he smiles and turns around and walks out the door. And I think we see Green walk through the doors open for him. He steps out onto the street. He kind of looks around, and we see like two figures in corporate security uniform walking up to him. And the one in front says forward, puts out her hand, and says, "Excuse me, sir. I'm gonna need you to stop. Do you have ID?" And he looks up. He looks at them. He smiles his broad. Oh, fuck's sake. Hey, shithole. He smiles his broadest smile, and says, "Absolutely. Now, if you don't mind holding this for me," and he hands over the package that he's just picked up. He reaches into his pocket, and then he runs. And that's the scene.
And how much of the planet explodes? That was great. I love Green.
Goddamn it, Green.
Green is an enigma.
Can you two vamp for like 2 seconds? We'll be right back. There was a sound. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Okay. Want me to go over my goals?
That's fantastic. Now let's start the next session because
Okay.
I don't want to do that.
That was fun.
I'll start signing this out. Thank you everyone for watching. This week's episode, week 10.
Bit longer than normal.
Stars of Our Number, Abaddon. We edit and Matt edits and uploads a lot of this over on the YouTube for, which I think is on this.
It's somewhere. We have a channel, apparently.
There we go. And over on that YouTube, so all of the previous week's episodes of Abaddon, including the previous 2 seasons, are up there, uploaded into nice bite-sized chunks. So
Don't watch our original series. It was horrible.
So yeah, head over, check that out, take a look. And this week, if you've missed any of it and wanted to catch up, we'll be over there soon, I assume.
Did you plug the
Matt?
YouTube channel?
Yes,
Yeah,
you did.
you wanna sign us out, get us out of here?
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Yes. To answer your question, it will be uploaded because I'm actually pretty good at that now.
Are you?
Yes.
He has been.
Yeah. Saying that, Quack, will mean that I'm not. You'll drink with me because I'll do it out of spite. Thank you very, very much. Let's see, we have a few more people watching this week. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I think Liam's already done the plug thing. I won't do that again. This has been week 8 of season 3. We'll be back next week, the same time. We should be same time, same place.
Week 10.
Week for week 11.
You said week 8 was then.
Did I?
Yes.
You're like, this has been week 8.
Oh, I meant week 10. This has been week 10. We'll be back next time, same place, same time. Thank you for watching. I'm going to hit this button, and it's going to make us go to the post shows. Yes? My thing's...
Matt, plug
Goodbye.
your channel.
Oh, it's all right. You click my name if you want to go. I play Wizard 101. It's a card game.
It's
there
a
we go.
horrible game. No,
It's a
don't watch
fantastic
him.
game. It's a fantastic game. This has been
Liam, it's a horrible game, isn't it?
Sorry, I was...
No comment.
Something happened. I'm kind of... this has been my worst plug. No, outro. I'm going to end the show now. Goodbye.